Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works as we speak, by, of course, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there as well. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are currently in a very exciting time for the franchise, given that we have a lot of Star Wars TV shows and movies that are currently in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm, John, George, and Dave Filoni as well. That's really going to put everything together between mixing both Legends and the already existing Disney canon material. And that's one thing to really be aware of, is that we are going to get a very good balance between what's old and what's new content, and how that's going to be mixed together to create unique and original Star Wars stories. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of fans are looking forward to the most, is to see exactly how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are going to essentially resurrect Star Wars Legends stories from highlights such as the Thrawn trilogy, the New Jedi Order, and even Shadows of the Empire, just as examples. We also have Dark Empire elements that will be inserted into the mandoverse. So on top of all of this, alright, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with the fact that the Ahsoka Tano TV series, by the way, the sets are already nearly complete. They're going to begin filming in just a short number of days for the first batch of episodes, and there's a lot of work being done on that show between both Rosario Dawson and, by the way, Hayden Christensen is indeed training for the role again as Anakin Skywalker. However, focusing on actor Pedro Pascal once more. Alright, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes with his involvement in the mandoverse and how he perceives his involvement in the Star Wars franchise as Din Djarin. Now, with both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni now actively developing their new Star Wars universe with new Star Wars shows and movies, they are also prepared to create a ton of new Star Wars lore that will spawn new eras of the Star Wars universe. However, it's noted that recently behind-the-scenes actor Pedro Pascal recently caused some trouble with the creatives of The Mandalorian and other Star Wars series. Now, since Pedro was let go from the Bo-Katan series, Pascal has recently not been taking everything well with that decision and is now giving Disney a big ultimatum about his involvement in future Star Wars shows. Now, Pascal is requesting that he is to get all the screen time that he deserves in future Mandalorian episodes and new Star Wars shows, or else he is planning on leaving. Pascal believes that he should be treated in the sense of how both Boba Fett was treated in his series without requiring a helmet, as well as using Master Chief in the Halo series as another example to Disney, that of course not having a helmet would be better for him as an actor. So let me just stop right there for 1 second. Obviously, it seems like Pedro is very obsessed with this idea of him not having the forced, aspects of him wearing a helmet on set or for his character in the series. Obviously, you need the helmet on because he's a Mandalorian, and you can't take it off too often because that kind of breaks the overall meaning of the title of the series, but I digress. So, Pascal has, as of late, been getting very demanding with his request to have more screen time and face time with his helmet on his face, off his face. Pedro Pascal believes that those two examples should be enough evidence that fans enjoy a character without a helmet on his face. Pedro also brought it up to Disney that he believes that the fans like his character more without the helmet on, and that having the helmet on all the time as well as too much time with Grogu is devolving the character. Let me stop right there for 1 second. Now, I do have to say one thing, that Pedro is definitely in the wrong about the helmet being on, making the character worse. I believe that having the helmet on for Din Djarin makes the character all the more mysterious and interesting, and there's just something very unique about Din with the helmet on that just works. And his emotions toward Grogu, very natural, very good and fitting for Star Wars. But I will say that they did go a little bit overboard with the connection between Din and Grogu. It seems like that they are going a little too overboard with that by having that connection between Grogu and Din Djarin, almost as like a way to attract fans to go ahead and watch the series just for that, like casual fans or new fans just because it's Grogu, right? So I think that, yes, they should dial that down a bit. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that Din and Grogu have that connection, you know, that very warm connection that we have seen in the Book of Boba and the Mandalorian Season 2, and etc., etc. So you can see what they're trying to do here. Now, on top of all of that, alright, Pedro is described to be having, of course, constant discussions with Disney's higher-ups, and even those like Jon Favreau and Filoni, at Lucasfilm about his ultimatum with his involvement in the future of Star Wars. Pedro wanted to make it clear to Favreau and Filoni that he believes that the helmet staying on is not only hurting his acting career, but that it's also making his character boring in what he believes. As of now, Pedro Pascal is still involved with The Mandalorian Season 4. However, recently Disney CEO Bob Chapek is now planning on expanding the series to, at the very minimum, for Season 6 of the series to end the series overall. That Pascal is very against his involvement with a series that long where he will only be wearing a helmet. Pedro also brought it up to Disney's higher-ups that he believes that his involvement with Star Wars past The Mandalorian Season 4 would be way too pressuring and overtaxing for him as an actor, and believes that this would kill his career as an actor sticking with the same role for too long. Now, Pedro is now set to begin filming Mando Season 4 sometime in early 2023. However, Pedro is also putting it on the table that if he does not get the face time that he is satisfied with for the Ahsoka series and Mando Season 4, that he will be leaving the mandoverse entirely and will want nothing to do with Star Wars again. Pedro is described to not even be a Star Wars fan at heart anyways, and wants out as soon as possible if he does not get the face time. So here's one thing that I think a lot of fans absolutely need to know that's very important, is that this is nothing really new. This started all the way back with The Mandalorian Season 2. You guys may recall that Pedro wanted to have the helmet off. He likes the armor. He loves the armor. He loves being in the suit, but he just doesn't like wearing the helmet all the time. And he wants more of his face to be seen. This way, you know, he can be more recognized as an actor, like, oh, that's the guy that plays the Mandalorian, you know? Believe it or not, I see a lot of casual fans bring this up, that they don't even know who really plays the Mandalorian or Din Djarin. There's a lot of casual fans out there, and let's face it, there's a lot of casual fans that watch the Mandalorian, and from what I have seen, they don't even know that it's Pedro Pascal, let alone they don't even know who Pedro Pascal really is. So it's really, you know, the mid-range fans, you know, the fans that are into the shows and into the movies, but they don't necessarily dive too far into the lore. And you also got hardcore fans that really know all of the lore from, you know, all the way back to Legends to now. And it's a very interesting thing, because I think that's what Pedro is focused on, is he's focused on how the casual fans are not really seeing who he is, or not knowing who he is really. And he wants to get his face out there more for the casual fans. That's what it's coming off as. So he's having a lot of frustrations right now with Disney. He's having a lot of problems with how his character is being treated. I don't really see a problem with his character having the helmet on. I don't know why it's such a big deal. If I were Pedro Pascal, I would not be complaining in the least. You know, not everything is about seeing, you know, the bigger picture, of course, of having his face be seen all the time. It's not all about that. It's about the character. And I think that he should really be proud about playing such a, you know, grounded character in this new universe. But anyways, guys, you know, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.